Good morning, my fellow Michiganders. Good morning, my fellow Americans. Welcome to the Grassroots Army podcast. I am, of course, your host, Garrett Soldano, and man, oh man, do I have a show for you all here today. I can't keep up with the media cycle. It's insane. And unfortunately, being election year, I think it's just going to continue to get worse. And we're going to talk about that along with Trump winning in November, what the left is going to do. You're going to see the mother of all hissy fits over the next 4 years of his term. And they're just really, really going to get loud. And that's what I want to start off with today. We're going to talk about how what they did to President Trump during his first term and how bad it was. You know, we got other things that we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about the woman who was sentenced to years in prison under the FACE Act for what she did in the abortion clinic. We're going to talk about the two-tier justice system. And obviously, I'm going to also talk about the hissy fit that the left is doing on my X profile because of a video I posted yesterday with me at the range, and they are just all fired up. I tell you what. So we're going to share the video. We're going to look at some of the comments. They're fat shaming me. You can't make this stuff up. The myth of the tolerant left, my goodness gracious. But also we're going to end the show with something very important that needs to be pushed out there, and not a lot of media is picking this up. Weird, right? But a teacher settled a $360,000 lawsuit against a school who fired her for refusing to lie to parents. Her name is Jessica Tapia. And I'm going to show the video that they pushed out. And it's very important because it's going to set precedents to a lot of other folks. And so if you're a teacher, you know, you have already a hero and a lot of other heroes that are standing up and fighting against this because you all should be standing for parental rights. So let's get into the video that I have of the mainstream outlet who is screaming. If you guys remember during the Trump's first term, they just screamed non-stop about the Trump-Russia collusion 24/7. And guess what? It all turned out to be a fabricated lie. Basically, the Democrats obstructed every single aspect of Trump's administration based on this lie that they created. So again, this was before the pandemic. So a lot of people still bought into what corporate media was dishing out to them 24/7. You know, the good thing about the pandemic is it awakened a lot of people to understand and know that corporate media just pushes out a narrative. And unfortunately, most of corporate media is backed by this progressive Marxist movement. And the biggest obstacle for President Trump was not the corruption itself. It was the majority of the American people still believed in the mainstream media, and they were getting heavily brainwashed, and they trusted it. They believed in the propaganda. So let's just look on what CNN and the corporate media was pushing out during Trump's first term. Watch this.
Case officer Vladimir Putin is. He knows how to handle an asset, and that's what he's doing with the president.
The Russians offered help. The campaign accepted help. The Russians gave help, and the president made full use of that help. And that is pretty damning.
The top Democrat on the Intelligence Committee is warning today that there is already evidence that the Trump campaign colluded.
Adam Schiff, the top Democrat, saying there is significant evidence of collusion.
Adam Schiff saying there is, quote, significant evidence of collusion. According to Congressman Adam Schiff, who attended the hearing today, President Trump and Trump Jr. had a conversation.
This is something that Adam Schiff, the ranking member of the House Intelligence Committee, brought up today.
We heard from Adam Schiff.
According to Schiff, well,
Here's Adam Schiff.
As soon as Adam Schiff and company walk out of that closed-door hearing, let us know.
The former DNI director, James Clapper, and John Brennan, they all talked about seeing communications, meetings that was concerning them. And this now backs up some of what they've been saying all along.
James Clapper, who knows more about all of this than almost anyone out there.
General Clapper and Director Brennan on the show just a few minutes ago saying that they think that President Trump is being played by Putin.
Reasonable to ask if he could be working on behalf of Russian interests and not the U.S.'s?
Well, it's a reasonable question.
Former acting FBI Director Andrew McCabe, listen to what he said when asked whether he thinks President Trump could be a Russian asset.
It's possible. I think that's why we started our investigation.
Andrew McCabe, I asked him that question. He said, I think it's possible.
It's possible? That is a remarkable statement for a top intelligence official to make.
The FBI, the CIA, the NSA, the former Director of National Intelligence, James Clapper, I mean, they've all said this. So to believe that that's wrong, you have to believe they're all involved in an elaborate conspiracy to get Donald Trump, which seems a little far-fetched to me.
Wow. That's what he had to put up with. And at the time, people believed it. People were literally brainwashed, just like we saw during the pandemic. People were brainwashed and buying into the lockdowns, the mandates, closing schools, canceling athletics. People bought into that because of the narrative. But the good news, hopefully, is the majority of Americans now are awakening and going, you know what? The corporate media is against us. And so at least some people are questioning the narrative now. And then you have a lot of podcasters and influencers who have their own shows now that people get a lot of information from. And that's why I love X. I mean, X has been a platform of freedom of speech, as of right now. And hopefully it stays right there or stays this way. I mean, if you're not on X, get on it, because there's a lot of conversations. We're going to break that down with my video and why the left is losing their minds over on X, because they don't control the narrative anymore. They're getting pushback on a lot of issues that they felt that were the truth. And so we're going to analyze that here in a second. But I want to move on to Washington pro-life activist sentenced to years in prison under the FACE Act. Okay. And so let's talk about the two-tier justice system. We all know that there are laws, and those laws, if broken, you should be prosecuted and you have to do your time. Unfortunately, what we're seeing all across America is a two-tier justice system where some folks will get punished extensively, like the January 6ers or the gentleman who, choked out the person on the train, I think in New York. He's fighting for his freedom. And the list goes on, where you have really great Americans that are just getting the book thrown at them. And then you have other people like illegal immigrants, you have the Black Lives Matter, the Summer of Love, all the other garbage, and nothing happened to them. And so obviously there is corruption at the highest level in the judicial system, and it's wrong. But I'm going to play the devil's advocate with this person. Two wrongs don't make a right. You can't do the things that she did, no matter how much and how strong you believe in it, even though the other side is doing it and get away with it. I just don't believe that you should do these things. So I'm going to break this down. So basically, two pro-life activists were sentenced to years in prison in Washington, D.C. District Court yesterday for their involvement in a rescue at a local abortion clinic. Lauren Handy, 30, was sentenced to 4 years and 9 months in prison for organizing the rescue. John Hinshaw, 69, was sentenced to 1 year and 9 months. So what happened was basically Handy and Hinshaw and 7 other pro-life activists went in and chained themselves to the doors and didn't allow people to come in and get the care that they need. And they were very, aggressive, and just prevented 2 women from needing medical care, which you can't do, right? You can't do. So the activists forcefully entered the clinic and blockade 2 clinic doors using their bodies, furniture, chains, and ropes. Where have we seen that, right? What do you see all across the country with these people blockading buildings, taking over buildings, blocking traffic, but nothing happens to them. They just get arrested and then released, maybe on a misdemeanor charge. But basically, they denied 2 women from getting medical care, and that was the big no-no. All right. So look, you guys know my stance on abortion. I'm Catholic. I got crucified for my stance on abortion when I ran for governor, and I still hold strong, but you can't prevent people from getting medical care. 2 wrongs do not make a right. You do not get to be aggressive, threaten, block people from receiving medical care. I just don't agree with that. You take the higher road. You truly do. It's just unfortunate that these folks are going to be sitting in prison when others get a get out of jail free card, literally. But here's where it gets interesting. And this is what I wanted to point out. Handy's group, the Progressive Anti-Abortion Uprising, claims that some of these babies bore signs that they were killed in partial birth abortions, which is illegal under federal law. Despite requests by multiple members of Congress, the Office of the D.C. Medical Examiner has refused to allow any independent investigation into these babies' deaths. So what I've read, and I'm trying to confirm, but basically this woman claimed that she had 115 fetuses, most at early stages of gestation. The group said a priest came to Handy's apartment to name and bless the babies, holding a funeral mass before burying 110 of the fetuses in an unidentified private ceremony or private cemetery. But the 5 that she kept, because of their apparent size, development, wounds, and lack thereof, it appeared 3 of the 5 nearly full-term babies were born alive and killed. This being a potential violation of federal law, Teresa and Lauren asked their lawyer to send a letter to the police requesting that the remains be picked up and investigated. That's where it's getting interesting, is that they said that they have proof that these babies were killed in partial birth abortions. It's illegal. And this is where it gets frustrating for all of us, that even requests from multiple members of Congress, the Office of the D.C. Medical Examiner has refused to allow any independent investigation into the baby's death. That's the insanity. Like, just do the investigation. And that's why, hey, there is a 2-tier justice system. They'll continue to hide. They only prosecute who they want to prosecute. And it's wrong. It's totally wrong. Now, look, this woman does not deserve years in prison. There's no way. There's no way. But again, if you're very passionate about these issues, just don't break the law. Don't prevent people from getting medical care. Don't do what the left does. I don't care how many times you get away with it. Don't be blocking traffic and doing all these things to prevent people from getting the care that they need or getting to pick up their kids. I mean, that's what's wrong right now. It's getting out of control. But you see time and time again the 2-tier justice system, and it's very frustrating for all of us to see. That's for sure, that the left continues to get off with all of their shenanigans. And when somebody that believes in what they're fighting for, like the January 6ers, this woman and her colleague, they get the book thrown at them and they'll hunt them down like they're still doing with the January 6ers, it's concerning. But that's what's going to happen when Trump becomes president. You're going to see the left lose their minds. You really are. You're going to see just nonstop chaos. And that's why all these illegal immigrants continue to flood in our country. They are organizing these things. They are going to be backed by Soros and crew. And they're just going to make this next presidency a living hell. They really are. And that's why I keep putting out to folks, like, don't think that once Trump wins, everything's going to be sunshine and rainbows, because it's not. It's going to be a knockdown, drag out, fist fight in a phone booth over the next 2 decades, folks. That's why you have to continue to be inspired, activated, and motivated to push back against this nonsense, because they are not going to go away. That's for sure. So let's move on to the hissy fit. Now I got to bring up this video. 1 second. I want to see if I can bring it up real quick and show you guys all the great. There we go. I'm not going to show you just yet. So yesterday I posted a video of me at the range. I like shooting guns. You guys know that. But I constantly love sharpening my sword tactically and everything else. I'm trying to get better, trying to get familiar. So I love posting these videos because I'm hoping it inspires other people that you have to train. And regardless of the weather, if it's raining, that's an ideal situation for training. Ideal scenario, I said. So I posted this video yesterday, and the left lost their minds on Twitter. They really did. So this just fuels my fire to do what? Post more Second Amendment videos. So I will be doing that from here on out, because my goodness gracious, they literally just went nuts over there. So here's the video, folks. Enjoy. Just because it's raining doesn't mean that you don't train. This is an ideal training scenario. It's not always going to be sunshine and rainbows in a gunfight. The more you sweat in training, the less you bleed in battle. It's your job to make sure the other guy bleeds more. Remember that. Wow. See, I thought that was great advice. But my goodness gracious, did the left lose their minds over on X? They went nuts, which is good, because the more they comment, the more reach my platform gets. So I love all the comments that happen from this bad boy. And so I will continue to post these things to really fire them up, because they engaged in a big way. So let's look at some of the comments. Michigan liberals, okay? And it's funny, majority of these comments they never have their real names. That's weird, right? Because they hide. And actually, I actually challenged Michigan liberals to a live debate on what's going on in the country, and they have yet to respond. So the invite is still out there, Michigan liberals. If you would like to come on my show and have a friendly conversation, I'd be more than happy to have you on here and show your face to the world, who you are and what you represent and what you're about. But I'm sure all we will hear from you is crickets. So he said, might want to slim down there to BMI less than 30. Try running a mile in less than 5 minutes, cowboy. Number one, they're fat shaming me. Holy cow. The myth of the tolerant left. Okay. And there's more to come. This is just the icing on the cake. So I replied, hey, whenever you'd like to get in the gym with me, I'm game. Me benching 350 pounds with my youngest son. So let's move on to the next one, which is fantastic. They just get better, folks. They truly do. This one, hi, Garrett. What battle are you thinking is coming? David Seller, he's a very active troll. He uses his real name, so I respect that. I said, great question, Dave. With all the illegal immigrants your daddy's letting in, I'm expecting a lot of good folks are going to have to protect themselves. Hope you have more than your sour milk to throw at them. Stay alert, stay alive, Dave. So you got to have fun. You got to hit back at these folks. But my goodness gracious, it just keeps going on. This is so disrespectful to those who have actually volunteered to serve. You're doing the equivalent of karaoke, but enjoy yourself. We all need a hobby. See, so because I like to go to the range and shoot guns, I'm disrespecting our military? No. My goodness gracious. It is our job as American citizens to always protect our Second Amendment, because that is why that's designed, is to make sure that a government doesn't get tyrannical. And if they do, you have every right to make sure that government does not continue to do the things that they want to do to all of us. So my goodness gracious, not disrespecting military at all. Reclaiming my time, and I love how she has the vaccination shot after her her name. Oh, so my goodness gracious, we'll see if she survives over the next 5 years from probably the 14th booster she got. So what a shame you spend so much of your daily life this way. It speaks volumes about you and none of it good. Hope you heal someday. Spend so much of my daily life. My goodness, I wish I could shoot at the range every day. Unfortunately, I'm so gosh darn busy. I get to the range every 2 weeks, maybe once a month, but they say that I'm consumed by it, which I wish I would. I wish I had the time to shoot every day. Hey, Tin Soldier, relax. Where are all these battles occurring? Is it a metaphor for your battle against diabetes? Maybe too relevant. How about against the urge for your buddy dick? You know you just want a little taste. Grassroots Army, come out of the closet. Oh, these people. Again, fat shaming. The intolerant, tolerant left. Plain dress up again. You people are bizarre. This is the gayest thing I've ever seen, and I'm gay. Oh, that was good. I enjoy it. Hey, GI Nobody, exactly what branch did you serve in Meal Team 9? Oh, yeah, it was rich. That was rich. So it was good. So there we are. So if you're not on X, folks, you got to get over there. It's a great platform right now, especially to see when they throw a hissy fit like they just did against a little video of me shooting and telling people to stay alert, stay alive. So I will continue to expose those folks and have some fun with them. That's for sure. Oh, that last one was a good one. But again, X has been a wonderful platform. This is why, because for so many years, they censored conservatives. They wouldn't allow the truth to come out. They wouldn't allow conversation to happen. And so what you saw during the Trump administration before Elon bought X was just one narrative. And the left really fed on that narrative, and they really believed that it was true because that was the only narrative that was talked about. You couldn't combat them. You couldn't ask questions, or you would have been deplatformed. You would have been censored and everything else. But now what has happened with Elon taking over is there's actually very, very great conversation over there on a variety of different issues. And so now the left is losing their power, literally. They're losing their control, and they freak out. Because when you go over there and people talk about the pandemic and the lockdowns and everything that's going on in the media and what's going on with Trump and the border invasion, they really don't say nothing because they're going to get attacked from a variety of different people that are asking valid questions and combating their leftist Marxist movement. And so they get very quiet. And so when you post something, they just all come and attack. All right. So that lets me know that I'm over the target, and I will continue to post those types of videos when it just freaks them out. So I will continue to do my part. That's for sure. I'm going to end today on something very important. The teacher, Jessica Tapia, settles $360,000 lawsuit with school. I think it was Jurupa in Jurupa, I think it was called, independent school district in California. But she settled a $360,000 lawsuit. The school fired her for refusing to lie to parents. So here's one of the teachers that stood up and said, no, I'm not going to not tell the parents that their child wants to be called a different name. I'm not going to agree with this. I'm not going to agree with all these things that you guys are telling me to do. And they were basically telling her a lie, and she refused, and she got fired. So she settled out of court $360,000. And here's her video that she posted yesterday. So I want to give her some time on the show. Watch this.
High school teacher speaking out after she says she was fired for not hiding students' gender transitions from parents.
And I said, are you asking me to lie to parents? And they said, yes. I'm Jessica Tapia. In 2022, I took a stand for truth. I was a PE teacher who was directed to refer to students by whatever gender they felt they were, withhold that information from their parents, and allow boys into the girls' locker room. I tried to find ways to keep my job and work with the school district for a resolution. But because I refused to lie to kids about their identity, because I refused to lie to their parents, and because I refused to put kids in harm's way, they fired me. I chose not to remain silent, but take a stand for truth. After seeking out counsel from Charlie Kirk and Pastor Jack Hibbs, they referred me to Advocates for Faith and Freedom, a nonprofit law firm dedicated to protecting constitutional and religious liberty. Advocates took on this legal battle for me, which resulted in a victory. Now, along with Advocates, we're launching Teachers Don't Lie, a program that helps teachers facing similar challenges find the legal help and resources they need. The fight isn't over. As the battle rages on against teachers who uphold truth, your support is crucial. Please help us protect these teachers in the courts by donating today. We're blowing the whistle on the lies.
Isn't that gave me the chills? Teachersdon'tlie.com. Folks, my goodness gracious, share this video because that is important, an important message for a lot of these teachers who may be scared of standing up. But I do know this, that courage is contagious, and the power of one can lead to the power of many. She just did a big thing, and hoping a lot of other teachers have the courage to do what she did. Now she's giving you where you need to go to get the help. Advocates for Faith and Freedom. All right, look these things up. Teachersdon'tlie.com. Look at them up. And if you're not a teacher and you just honor what she's did, then support them. You know, buy them a cup of coffee, as I say, because when you got 1 million people that donate $5 a people or $5 a person, that adds up to be big time money for organizations that are actually standing for parental rights, which needs to happen. So I just wanted to have a great show today, which I feel that we accomplished. There's a lot of information out there. I'll continue to do my part and give you up-to-date, accurate, and truthful information as we continue to move this movement forward together as a people. Keep standing up, folks, because we are going to win this fight. God bless you. God bless the state of Michigan. Of course, and always, God bless these United States. Until next time, bye-bye.